All Things Possible TV. I'm Kris and this is Bill, and we're excited to have you with us here at beautiful Lake Powell. We love Lake Powell and we come here often, and we wanted you to be able to join us in this episode at Lake Powell. Our episode today is How to Speak Caveman, Health and Wellness for Dummies. And Bill,
I'm the dummy.
I think you're the caveman, I'm the dummy, but we are excited to share with you some of the things that we have found out and the knowledge that Bill has. Go ahead and tell us about that.
Okay, you know, there's this, I would call almost an epidemic of health crisis going on today. I mean, how many times have you been to the doctor for a lot of things going on and they're not able to tell you what's going on or much less cure it? And then if you get very, very lucky, they'll come up with a very fancy name for some disease or something that you have, a syndrome that you have, and you go home feeling all proud and happy that you spent hundreds of dollars because now you have a name for why you feel like crap. And so,
that's so true.
And today, what I want to talk to you about is this fight or flight. Have you heard of that fight or flight mechanism? Our bodies get stuck in the mode of fight or flight, and our systems just doesn't work, and any kind of health problems can show up with that. We're going to talk a lot about that, share that with you today, and I want to tell you that I'm going to share with you 2 simple techniques to help turn this around. So stick with us. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to take a cruise up the canyon. You'll see a lot of beautiful scenery from Lake Powell, and it's going to be amazing. So stick with us. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, and before we go any further, we want to invite you to go to our website, www.allthingspossible.biz, and get the 7 traits. I teach 7 traits to have all things possible in your life, and it's awesome to be able to change your life and to be able to move you forward. So jump on the website, join that. Also, we want to offer you a free strategy session, and it's not often that we both offer free strategy sessions, but on this episode, you can either have a strategy session with Bill or myself. Just go to that About or Contact Us button on the website and send us your email, and we will contact you for a 20 to 30 minute strategy session. We are excited to have you here, and I'm excited about this topic because I've recently had a lot of health problems and some pretty big issues. And I'm having more relief from this technique than anything else that we've done. So I want to have you join us. Come aboard and let's have some fun at Lake Powell.
Hi. Okay, we're cruising up. If any of you know or care, Moki Canyon, just a little bit upstream from the Bullfrog Bay, here in beautiful Lake Powell. Is this amazing scenery or what? If you haven't seen it, this is just one of the most beautiful places on earth. But we're here today to talk about this health thing that's going on and how I'm trying to simplify some of this health and wellness issues that we have in today's world and with what's going on. And here's the problem. One of the big problems is have you heard of the fight or flight mechanism? That's what we're mostly going to be talking about today. But we get caught and our bodies get stuck in this fight or flight mechanism, and there's all kinds of things that go on in the body that our health starts to break down when we're stuck in this mode and we never get back into that rest, digest, and regenerate mode that our body works in. So basically we work in one of 2 modes all the time. We're either in fight or flight or we're in rest and digest, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The medical field has even come up with a term for it called dysautonomia. Now you know what's wrong with you. You've got dysautonomia. You can tell everybody. You can get drugs for it, okay? But I can't prescribe them to you. But dysautonomia, what they call it, is an overactive nervous system, okay? I'm going to explain this in 2 different ways. I'm going to explain it in medical ways or technical terms, and then I'm also going to explain it simplified in caveman terms, okay? But first, I want to read you, forgive me for reading, I want to read you a list of, if you go on the internet, all the medical conditions that can be caused by dysautonomia. Okay, so here you go. It's just a short list. It's only a paragraph long. Obesity, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, anxiety, attention deficit, depression, adrenal fatigue, headaches, impotency and sexual dysfunction, high blood pressure, heart disease, multiple chemical sensitivity, food sensitivities, allergies, hyperactivity, alcoholism, addiction, compulsive overeating, food addictions, ulcers. I don't want to read the same line twice. Depression, autism, multiple sclerosis, circulation disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, excessive sweating with an unknown cause, and worsening of any medical or health condition. Does that just not a broad umbrella that covers everything? And somebody got paid a lot of money to tell people that they have dysautonomia. What I want to do is share with you how perhaps you can get rid of dysautonomia. So let's talk about the automatic nervous system. If you think of autonomic, change it to automatic. And that's the things in our body, the automatic functions. Your heartbeat, the blinking of the eyes, your breathing. You do all of this without thinking about it. Your immune system is part of the autonomic nervous system. It just works. You don't have to say, hey, immune system, start working. But what we do end up doing inadvertently is we tell our immune system, shut down because I'm having a crisis. And we're going to talk about that. The autonomic nervous system is always in one of two modes. It's either in the sympathetic mode, which is fight or flight, or it's in the parasympathetic mode, which is rest, regenerate, digest. Some people refer to it as the feed and breed. We're going to stick with rest, regenerate, and digest in the parasympathetic nervous system. And so one of these is working all the time. What I want to do now to make it easy to understand, and if you're like, okay, so what, am I in the fight or flight mode all the time? And really, a lot of veterans struggle with this, you've heard it called PTSD. They live in wartime situations where their life is constantly in danger. And they come home and they have all these health issues. And a lot of it is because they have this dysautonomia. Their fight or flight mechanism gets stuck in overdrive all the time. So here it is. Caveman speak. I'm going to teach you. You only need 2 words, and I'm going to teach you 2 words in caveman. And you might think, what does this guy know about caveman? But I'm going to tell you, I'm the world's leading expert on caveman, okay? Because I used to have a brother-in-law that was a caveman. I didn't have to go and dig up some fossils and bones. I talked to the guy. He used 2 words. It was ugh and ah. And those 2 words is all you need to know to learn to speak caveman and to know which system, your autonomic nervous system, which mode that's working in, okay? For example, here's a couple of phrases. A caveman would say, a pterodactyl just bit my toe off. He would go, hug, 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 hug. Okay, that's how he says a pterodactyl just bit my toe off. If he says, our neighbors and enemies, the Stinkfoot clan, are getting ready to attack, he will go, ugh, 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 ugh. And that's how he tells you that they're about to attack. And then he toughens up and he says, I'm going to bash their heads in with my Cabela's battle axe. He'll go, ugh, 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 ugh. See, it's simple. You only need that word. Now, how do you say ah? Okay. For example, if I was to say to my cave mate, honey, I just love the way that new raptor bone looks in your hair, I would go, ah. Okay. And if I want to say, oh, that was a yummy Stegosaurus Sioux, I go, oh. All right. Now, how does the caveman say, I just discovered fire? How does a caveman say, I just discovered fire that is really stinking freaking hot? There you go, okay? So you're speaking caveman now. You got it. I hope that you don't ever forget this. And if anybody ever asks you, you can teach them to speak caveman also. So this autonomic nervous system, this fight or flight mode, was very essential for the survival of cave people, okay? Their lives were in danger. There were huge, large beasts. They didn't have a lot of protection. There were enemy clans warring all the time. There was a lot of problems. So they needed this because it helped them to survive. But yet this system has remained with us in today's day. And what do we need it for? For example, you've all heard the stories about the mother that lifts the car off her child. Okay, amazing feats that people perform. The odd hiker that gets attacked by an animal and outruns or is able to fight it off or get away. That's when that autonomic nervous system kicks in, fight or flight mode, sympathetic nervous system, and amazing amounts of strength. Okay? But we don't need this today. Probably in your lifetime, you'll only need this 2 to 3 times in your whole lifetime when your life is in mortal danger. When was the last time your life was in mortal danger? Okay, it doesn't happen that often, but yet we turn this system on every day and sometimes several times a day. And once this autonomic nervous system is triggered, it stays active sometimes for several hours. It takes several hours to wear off. So you can have a little incident, flips that system on, and you've forgotten about it, and it stays functioning and churning. And that's a real problem when our health starts to break down. But guess what? If you think about it, only the most neurotic and paranoid cavemen survived. The ones who weren't neurotic, who weren't paranoid, who weren't cautious, they all got eaten. Can you see Mr. Rogers as a caveman? Okay, here's Mr. Rogers as a caveman. Okay, empty cave next door. A new bunch of people moves in. He goes walking over there, singing in a sing-song voice with his little cave sweater on, going, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, won't you be my neighbor?" Guy doesn't know what he's talking about, comes up, bashes him over the head with his battle axe. He's done for. Mr. Rogers does not survive in this environment. Okay, here's another one, Bobby McFerrin. You remember he wrote the song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." Can you see him as a caveman tiptoeing through the tulips going, "Here's a little song I wrote, got to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy." Okay. Bites his head off, flies away with his head. He flops over dead. Bobby McFerrin doesn't survive. Who survives? Bobcat Goldthwait. You remember him, Mr. Neurotic Comedian? Okay, here's Bobcat Goldthwait. I don't think you guys should be stepping in it or riding on it. That's the guys that survived, okay? So this system became very hyperactive, and we come by it naturally. So we have Prozac, right? What we want to do is offer you an alternative to that, but understand where this what happens here. So I want to share with you the emotional spiral, and that'll flash up on the screen here. Again, go onto our website, download this. I'd love you to have a copy for it and study it at allthingspossible.biz/emotional-spiral. Okay, and here it's going to flash up on the screen. So with the emotional spiral, look, there's a middle gray line in the middle of this. Look at all the emotions that are below or on the bottom half of the descending arc of the emotional spiral. If you're feeling any one of these emotions, it's very, very likely that what you've done is trigger this fight or flight response within yourself. And you don't think about it. You get upset at somebody at the grocery store. Your child comes home with bad news from school. Somebody's been picking on them. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Any one of these things, when you get upset, our system, because of our neurotic ancestors, has become so finely tuned that it just blam, kicks into gear, and you're in fight or flight. You're ready to just go, Zah! I mean, you can outrun a dinosaur, you can fight off the neighboring cave clan, you can do, whatever it is you want to do. People think I'm crazy traveling up the channel here. What goes on in your system when you go into fight or flight mode. Another picture, this will flash up on the screen. All right, here are some things that happen in your body. Now you think of some of the problems, the health problems that you may be having, or mental, emotional, call it what you will. This is what happens physically in your body or biologically when the fight or flight mechanism is triggered. Okay, the mouth goes dry. Okay, we cease to produce saliva. Our pupils dilate so that we can see everything and all the danger. Our neck and shoulder muscles tense, all the body tense. Man, we got to get ready to either run really fast or fight really hard. All right, our heart pumps faster. Okay, get that heartbeat up, blood pressure, the way it goes. We might have chest pains and palpitations. Man, we are getting ready to really, really do something important. And all we did is get upset because the babysitter was late. All right, you might have sweating. Your muscles all tense up for action. Your breathing becomes fast and shallow. You don't breathe oxygen like you're supposed to. And that oxygen is all sent to the muscles instead of other parts of the body. Here's some of the effects that you don't notice that are going on underneath the surface. The brain gets the body all ready for action, so it's all tense for any little thing to trigger. Adrenaline, your adrenals releases into the system, so you're ready to lift that car off the baby or what have you. Your blood pressure rises. The liver releases glucose so you can have energy. You having weight problems? Okay, is that what's happening? Digestion stops or slows down so you don't digest your food properly. When there is a dinosaur chasing you through the tundra, you don't need to properly digest breakfast this morning. You need to outrun this dinosaur or you're never going to have any more breakfasts. And so it shuts that down. It doesn't need it. It needs strong muscles and a fast heartbeat and lots of adrenaline so you can outrun the stinking dinosaur. All right. And then cortisol is released. What does cortisol do? Cortisol shuts down the immune system. Do I have to tell you what the immune system does? It keeps you from getting cold, getting sick, fights off diseases and sicknesses, and it shuts all that down. So think about all of these things going on in your body all the time, day in and day out. How are you supposed to stay well? How are you supposed to fight off diseases, okay?
So now you can see, after going through this response chart, what goes on inside your body when all this is happening. When you're in this fight or flight mode and your subconscious mind, your primitive brain, thinks you're going to die and get ate by a dinosaur, you realize what's going on inside your body. All this stuff shuts down. Is it any wonder that we have all of these health problems and things going on? Let me give you just, if I can switch to modern times, a football metaphor to this. You have two teams as in your football. You've got your defensive team and your offensive team. Obviously, when you're under attack, you put out your defensive team, and that would be like our autonomic nervous system going into the fight or flight mode. We're going to defend, okay? When you're in the offensive team, when you got your offensive team out there, your body is in the move forward, and that's what you want to do with your offensive team. You want to move forward in life. You want to move ahead, and that's what our body does. It regenerates everything. It fights off. The immune system starts working properly, and it fights off any germs, sicknesses, what have you. And that's where we want to be, is fighting off and being that rest, regenerate, and recuperate. So I promised you two techniques that I was going to share with you to help shut this down and turn it around. And the first technique I want to share with you is a game show technique, okay? And this is called Name That Emotion. So when you're in the middle of something, go back to your emotional spiral. When you're in the middle of one of these emotions that is on the lower half of the spiral, just assume that when you're feeling that, you have triggered the fight or flight response mode, okay? And as you trigger that, then all these things shut down. So just say, oh, what's the situation? Is the babysitter late? Did you get stuck in traffic? Is it frustration? Is it anger at a coworker at work? Just name that emotion. Say, oh, that was anger. This is frustration. There's no need to psychoanalyze it. Just name it and say these words. Oh, my life is not in danger. I'm not going to die. When you say that, you're really telling the subconscious mind to knock it off, quit all the overreacting and the drama stuff, and shut down and go back into rest and regenerate mode. And it's amazing how well this will work. And as you do it more and more, your system will switch back faster, and also you will become more conscious of the emotions that you're carrying, and you'll keep your emotions in the upper half of the spiral. And there's so many more benefits to that besides that. The other one I want to share with you is Stress Be Gone. Okay, you got a Bug Be Gone bug spray, right? You spray it, all the bugs die and scamper away. You've seen the commercial. This is Stress Be Gone, and it's simply a breathing technique. And that's what I want to do right now, is just share with you that breathing technique to switch modes, to change gears, go out of the fight or flight and back into the parasympathetic mode of rest, regenerate, and recuperate, digest. Okay, so when you breathe in and you take in all the air you can, you breathe until you feel your tummy actually expanding. When you breathe out, completely expel all the air, and you do it quickly. This is not necessarily a slow breathing technique, but you expel that air quickly and with a sigh, and you expel it to the point where you feel actually your tummy pull it in towards your spine. So it'll look like this. Go. Again, what's that? Ah, what did we just say? That's a caveman word, isn't it? Okay. Ah. So. Oh, my life's not in danger. I'm not gonna die. Ah. Okay. We're happy about that. Get it turned around. Okay. Thanks for coming. I've had a lot of fun shooting this episode today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've gained some information here, and I hope that it's been beneficial to you. Use it, please, these two simple little techniques. We'd love to share more techniques with you. My wife and I, Kris and I, would love to share more things with you. Please go to our website, www.allthingspossible.biz. Click on the 7 traits. Some really good stuff there. It's our free gift to you. Download the 7 traits and change your life. 7 traits to having all things possible. Also, while you're there, you can click the Contact Us button and email either Kris or myself, and we'd love to do a free strategy session with you where we can talk about what your concerns and what you would like and how we may possibly serve you. Thanks for coming. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of this weekend. It's glasses on, swimming suit on. We're in the water for the rest of the weekend here at beautiful Lake Powell. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. Bye-bye. We'll see you next week.